pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so we've got a quorum here, 4 of 5 Finance Committee members, the trustee and our fiscal officer and the township administrator. So the agenda today, we're going to make sure, there's no old business. We can approve the minutes of the last meeting. The main order of new business is discussing the 2024 tax budget. As is our normal process, Kim sent all the materials out to everybody. We all had a chance to gather any input we had. Any questions, we sent those to Kim ahead of time. I think we're all copied on the answers there, but we'll go through all those when we get to it, just to make sure everybody has a chance to ask any questions they have. Any questions or issues with the prior meeting minutes? Do you want to make a motion to approve?
Make a motion. Second.
All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Agenda from the last meeting is approved. Anybody have any other agenda items they want to add?
Hearing none.
All right, hearing none, let's move on to the 2024 tax budget questions. Kim, Joe, anything any of you want to say before we start going through the detailed questions?
I don't have anything.
Okay. Oh,
Push the Bluetooth
Good
button.
thing I talk loud enough.
yeah.
I'm in a trial attorney.
I thought only I did that.
All right, so going through, everybody on.
Pete, I'd like to make a motion that we skip the reading of the number 1 through 11. I think that the answers Kim provided were sufficient. Unless anybody
I agree with that.
discussion on any of those items, I would move that we move immediately to number 12.
No problem here.
All right, I agree with that. Just for the record, there were some questions on specific line items, asking about individual amounts. I think we got answers from Kim on what was behind all those budget items. Finance Committee is all satisfied that those are good budget estimates to go in with our tax budget for the year, so we can close on those. So moving on to question 12 then, was talking about the building options for a new administrative building. There's kind of 2 questions there. 12 and 13 are connected. So Kim, maybe you want to kind of give an overview of where we are on assessing options, and then how you've approached it for the budget this year and next year's tax budget.
Okay, so we started the process with Morton. We contracted with Municipal Financing Solutions, which is kind of like the finance arm, and we're allowed to do design build. So we'll do all of those kind of simultaneously, and they'll give us a preliminary cost estimate. They're supposed to have a preliminary drawing to us probably by early to mid-June. And then as soon as everybody, like the board, is okay with the layout and everything, then they'll give us a cost associated with it, and then we can try to figure out how to finance it. What I did is I had plugged $1 million into our 2023 budget. So, in case we started it early, we could go ahead and pay for some of it. And then whatever we have left over, we'll just have to figure out how to finance phase 2, which is attaching the administration building to it.
Is that $1 million over 2 or 3 different funds, or all in one?
Yeah, it's over the TIF fund and the ARPA fund.
Kim, is there any kind of guesstimate of what the total amount's going to be?
Originally, they guesstimated anywhere between 1.5 and 2 million,
Okay, so
which is not hateful.
if
but-
we budget 1, we're halfway home.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm saying we could do 1, which is phase 1. Phase 1 is going to be the service garage itself.
Right.
But then we've also told them, we want to make it so that we just fit the administration building right next to it. Because there's a section in the revised code, I think it's 511, that says that if you build a township hall and the cost is going to be over $50,000, you have to put it on the ballot. So that's why I want to go ahead and just attach it and make it a government building, so it's not a township hall. And then that's why we've kind of come back to this location to make it all work. And then we can get rid of this building and we can get rid of that building next door and just have one building. So that way we have one electric bill. We're not cleaning multiple buildings, we're only cleaning one building, that's and the like.
So are you guys gonna work from home for that period of time?
No, they said they might be able to squeeze it so that we can only, like, we can do it in phases where we tear down one building at a time. So we'll just have to figure out who's moving where.
It's like the red stadium in the wedge.
Yeah.
You know, you tear down and you build that way, and then all of a sudden you build what you
Yeah.
really wanted to build to begin with.
You could do what the schools do, just bring in those portable classrooms.
We'll just move, I mean,
Or we could operate out of the safety service center.
yeah, we
Yeah,
could do
yeah.
that too. I mean, we have
Okay.
multiple options.
Yeah.
It, you know,
So so in terms of timeline, what do you think the likelihood is of,
we are
Spending
hoping to
that
have a
this year
design
and-
done by fall. And hopefully we could start something by the end of fall, early winter. And then that gives them all of next year to finish it, because we have to be done by 2024, the end of 2024.
because of the,
The ARPA money.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
That's with phase one. We have to be done with the service garage, but I'm hoping that we can,
Okay.
The
Will
only
that
thing
use
we'll
up
have-
everything in the ARPA fund?
what's that?
That would deplete everything in the
Yep.
ARPA fund?
Mm-hmm.
Trying to remember how much is in there.
It's like right now we have 1,222,000 left. But then our playground equipment just came in, so as soon as that gets installed, we'll be paying out, I think it's like 335 that I have budgeted for that. And then the rest come out of the general fund. And then we're getting a $200,000 grant to offset what we're taking out of the general fund.
Gotcha. And I think last time the conversation we had about financing is considering we're gonna fund a big chunk of it from ARPA with our cash on hand, we would probably not go
Right.
down that path and just look at paying cash for everything, right?
Yeah, well, it's probably gonna be more like we pay cash for one half and have to finance the other half. The thing is like, we're having this municipal financing, like, look at it, because they will do it however we wanna do it. They can build it and then lease it back to us. So we can either pay for a 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, however we wanna design it, or we can finance it ourselves and go through a, like a Fifth Third Securities or something like that, or Baird. And then they do public notes. And then we can finance it over a 10, 15, 20-year period, whatever, however long we want to take to pay it off. Just depends. But it's cheap. It might be cheaper that way because then it's tax-free, because we don't pay taxes. But if we finance it through the other company, we would have to pay the taxes on their financing.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll look at both options.
Okay.
Do you have a contact at Fifth Third Securities?
Yeah, it used to be Mike Mestemaker, but I don't think he's there anymore, so I can go through because we have,
someone that I know there
okay,
in Fifth Third Securities.
okay,
He does a lot of cases for people who are, and it's all has to be secured because it's through probate for like minors and people who are incompetent who receive settlements. So it has to be very secure investments with absolutely no risk of loss. for the
Right.
sort of
Well,
things.
it's
I have
just-
someone I can put you in contact with.
Okay.
Just someone to talk with,
Yes.
all we need to.
Yeah, 'cause I know-
That's who this person is.
because I know Baird's reached out to us, so I have that contact person. I dealt with them when we built a building in Dayton.
If you want the name, I can give it to you.
Sure.
He's
That's fine.
He's been working with me for 10 or 15 years on those type of cases.
Why
Okay.
don't you just email it to her?
I'll do it after the meeting.
Okay. So then the second phase, from timing standpoint, is more flexible when we would get that done.
Yeah, but the most critical part is the maintenance garage itself. And then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and, you put the bays in, and then we're gonna add a car wash bay. And then we're gonna go ahead and add in like a kitchen and some locker rooms so that the guys can at least move out of that building and into that building. And then that way, if we need to move, we can just move into that building while they tear the part of this one down. Or they tear this meeting room down and they don't need to tear the rest of it down. And then we just meet over at the safety center in the meantime. I mean, there's all kinds of different options.
Okay. I mean, I think we can figure it out later. I would still keep the option open depending on how our finances look, a year from now to continue to just pay it from our existing funds rather than
And it could be.
financing.
Yeah.
You can always, you can go shop around and see what financing costs would be, whether you do like a public bond or borrowing, and just kind of, we can see what that looks like and how much risk we'd be taking.
Okay. Well, this basically, this concept precludes administration building added on to the Safety Service Center or some such, because of what she said earlier.
About the town.
Have to put it on the ballot.
Yeah, we'd have to
If
put
we
it on
were
the
to build
ballot.
a town hall.
If we add, but even if we added onto that building, why would
If
that
you
be
added
different
onto
than
the
adding
safety
on here?
service building, you wouldn't, but I just don't know where you would
Yeah,
add it
yeah,
on
yeah.
to.
No,
That's
right,
the
yeah.
problem. So that's why we bought that lot out in front.
Right.
I mean, we could always, the parking lot always needs to be fixed over there anyway. But originally we had looked at putting a building over there, but then when I found that section of the revised code and I remembered it was there, I'm like, we're not gonna be able to do that.
Yeah, I mean,
There's no point
yeah.
putting it on the ballot. Why spend the money?
I agree.
So-
If we can fund it within our existing
Yeah.
operating fund, then there's no reason to put
What's
it
the
on the
point?
ballot. If we needed funding to go do it, then I would say it's probably the right thing to go ask people, do you want to do this or not? But
Right.
otherwise, it's just a regular operating process. Yeah.
Agree.
Okay. Any other questions on the administration building or any of that project work? If not, I think question 14 was on salary increases, and maybe it would make sense, Kim, just kind of walk through what you're thinking about total staff. I'm kind of curious how it fits in with the total staffing plan for the township and what you would do.
It is there's two things. The board's gonna be discussing this at the June 4th meeting to tell me what they want to do. But we've looked at, the biggest thing that drives this is they wanted to hire a park manager. So we've got 200 acres of parkland, and we've added all this parkland, and we've never added people to take care of the 200 acres. So it's getting to the point now where it's just getting so much maintenance that we can't keep up. So the board wanted to hire a park manager. Well, I've been running all my scenarios, and you can see in the 2171, when you add in, if we hire a park manager and pay it out of the park fund, which is what we're supposed to do, the salary line increases from $260,000 to $330,000. And that leaves us no money for projects. So, but it also dwindles the cash balance. It goes from 285 down to 164. So in 2025, if we're going to continually be $120,000 over, we're going to hit, we're going to hit a lot. In 2025, we'll almost be out of money. So that's what I said. The board's going to have to tell me how they want me to handle it. If we go ahead and hire that person, obviously we would have to put on some type of additional levy in the park to make it all work and to have money for projects. Because right now I'm having to pay for all the projects out of ARPA, which is going to go
right.
away, and the general fund, which you can't forever pay projects out of the general fund because then the general fund goes away.
Yeah, right.
So the other option is to make some adjustments in the general fund. Now, we could take this park manager's position out of the general fund, but right now I pay for the director of public works out of the general fund. So somehow there has to be a give, like I can't do both. It has to be one or the other. Or we could make adjustments in other people's titles and salaries that are already staffed, it's already existing. So they're just gonna have to make a decision and tell me how they wanna handle it.
Okay.
Or if we get to attrition of a couple of positions, that might solve the problem too.
If-
It depends on the level.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
if,
So what, I guess for a park manager, it's not clear to me if we need more people who are gonna be out doing maintenance, fixing, cleaning, mowing, repairing things, or are we looking for somebody who's more like a management position, who's going to build programs? Because I can definitely see going down that path, and they're gonna say, oh, you know, the tennis courts aren't in good shape, let's repair it. We wanna
It's gonna
add
be
this,
more
we wanna
that.
add this and that.
it's gonna be more that, that's what the board wants. They want somebody that is focused on the big picture and making sure that we have the necessary components to go with that, but it doesn't preclude them from doing some of the maintenance themselves if we need
Yeah.
help.
Yeah.
Like, we
And
just
I
need to
agree
make
that-
sure that's
yeah, I agree.
both.
It's like, do we need a middle manager, or is it better just to hire another employee?
That, well, we have large discussion and the board settled on they want a park manager.
Can I speak to that for a second? Okay. I've been here 18 years, and we've never really had a park master plan. Okay, if you want to think about that and the direction we're going in, we did some accumulation of more property and things like that in the past and so on. We're putting in playgrounds and things like that, but we really need a master plan which includes all the maintenance items on a scheduled basis and fit in these new plans and programs. And with the job that she's been doing, tough to take that on too. So that's kind of what we're looking for, is somebody who comes up with a master plan that has to be approved by the board and budgeted. So I think that there's a lot of help there in the middle management kind of standpoint that we're looking for. But we've interviewed what I consider some good candidates.
Yeah.
It's just, can we afford them and how right now? And the people want to get outside as well as inside that we've talked to and get their hands dirty. So I see both a manager kind of overview, budget, master plan kind of scenario, but somebody who goes and works too.
That's
And
gonna
if
be
we
really
can-
hard to find.
Well, I think
We found
we
two
we found
people.
some.
We found two people.
Okay,
The
but we're
prob-
trying to figure out how we can really afford this.
Yeah, and the other problem is we have, the way that we have set up our departments, this person would have no employees. So it makes it kind of difficult to have a park manager without any employees.
Why is that?
Because we have a service department that's, the director of public works is the person over top of the service department, and he has 10 employees. And so
they do
many of them are
parks and roads,
assigned,
Somebody in the
yep.
roads, somebody in the roads, yeah.
So really, he's the person that has all the employees, the park manager would have none. So he would have to work with the director of public works to make sure that the employees that get signed to the parks department
Yep.
get the work done. So it may be a very difficult thing that we need to try to, I don't know how we're gonna overcome that.
But looking far enough down the road, there may be some retirements and things that help make that picture clear,
So
although not now.
So for like a long time, since I've been on the board here for quite a while, I mean, the parks levy and the Rossi levy were always pretty healthy.
Yeah,
So now we're taking out of general fund to hire an employee. We can't use those levies towards that employee.
well, what she's saying is that we have a park levy out there. And the Rossi levy is really to pay off the bond.
Yeah, Rossi
Okay,
mostly
that
is
was
to
a
pay off the
30-year,
bond.
9/10 of a mil that's gonna go away sometime.
2020
Maybe
or
2020.
2037.
Is it 37?
Yeah, when it goes
It's
away.
27. But,
I just remember that was a pretty long, maybe I've been around a long time.
yeah.
Well, the Rossi levy, we weren't paying a bond payment for a while, so the money was accumulating, but then in 2021 is when we had to start paying the bond, and it takes up almost all the money that we get. And then we use the remainder of that to pay for like utility bills, like the water usage, the cable, the internet that we have there, you know, things that pertain, you know, specifically to the Rossi Park itself.
We've added a lot of things in our parks that's cost
Well,
us.
I would say in the years that I've lived in Symmes Township, which is since 2009, but not nearly as long as probably a lot of people, the parks have at least doubled
Yeah.
since then.
But
Maybe
you know,
tripled.
it's,
Land.
it's a different environment out there.
It's a
We're
totally
spending
different
money on security cameras and things, putting them in
You
more
look at
places
the-
in the park because of,
The Home of the Brave Park is, even from 5 or 6 years ago, was completely different.
yes,
So.
yes. But recall that we're also getting some biennial budget money that's helped us at phase 2 at Home of the Brave Park, the lights, the ball fields, and so on and so forth. That was paid for in large extent, although supplemented with our park
The capital
dollars.
grant, yeah.
Okay, but capital grant. We're gonna do the same kind of thing. We have new park equipment coming in to do Seven Gables Park right now. That's been 30 some odd years since we changed any equipment over there. And we have to do that periodically at the different parks, so.
Yeah, and that's been the
That's that
problem, or the
master plan I'm
challenge.
talking about, yeah.
Because a lot of our parks were built 30 years ago, and of course, playground equipments don't last 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
They usually last about 20 to 25.
My kids and I fished at the Symmes Park and the Home of the Brave last night.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have your license?
Did not have a license.
You know why I asked that, don't
I
you?
know.
You know why I asked
Of course I
that?
do. Because
Okay.
it's Stockton.
Yeah.
Well,
And
no.
now you have to have a
ODNR
license.
is working with us and they're doing it.
My older son has his license. I did not.
Okay, if you're at 12 or under, I think you don't
You
need
can
one.
lock me up.
Yeah,
And
kids
I asked
don't.
about you.
I caught one bass.
I think it's 16 under. You could have asked.
But that's great to hear, really. Because one of the things we're maybe talking about is a fishing tournament for our,
But I said to my
Next-
kids,
next
I said,
year.
we have the best parks in Hamilton County, if not in this region. We are a destination. We need to preserve them.
we found that out not too long ago when the inner city came out here and put on a presentation. Okay, in Home of the Brave Park, and they were just,
Right.
you know, how
Yeah.
well maintained our parks
The
were.
dog park, the lakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get a lot of,
Mead, all those things.
Yep.
we get a lot of
We're a
shelter rentals.
destination because of that.
Yeah, we get a lot of outside
But I
shelter
guess my
rentals.
concern is with like a parks manager, I think that's a great idea, but we can't have a middle manager only. They have to be in tune with the public works people.
Yes.
So-
Yeah, and I would
We
just,
see that.
I would just be careful on the attrition plan of, if you have attrition, whatever that person was doing, how are you gonna replace that? Again, I fully support it. I would almost suggest, similar to what we did with like the police and safety services, checking how we compare with other townships and what we're spending and what we have for our parks. I agree, I think we have great parks. My sense is that if I go to like Montgomery or Blue Ash, which is where I am because my kids are in Sycamore schools, they look like they're spending more on their parks. I don't think they're nicer, but they look like they're spending more. I'd be curious to see how efficient we are compared to them, and that might be something that eventually, if we decide we need a levy to fund some of this, like, that becomes part of the, like, do we want this? I mean, you ask people, like, do you want the parks to have more stuff, be better maintained, have a stock, like, pond? I think yes, but,
DNR did that though.
Okay. Think
Kim,
about Montgomery and Blue Ash, because you mentioned them, and their beautification program. They got trucks that water
I know,
those flowers
I know,
and so on.
it's ridiculous.
I mean, can you imagine what the budget is just for that in Blue Ash and Montgomery?
I know. That's
Yeah.
what I'd be interested to understand, relative to the number of parks and size of population.
It's
what are
called
they spending?
city
Can we
income
put
tax.
flowers on every light post? and
Yeah.
Flower them?
Shoot, we don't even have light posts.
Don't get Joe started on the lights.
I'm sorry.
So I think it's,
We're gonna put a blinking stop sign outside your house.
Thank you.
Did you say that the board is considering putting a levy on the ballot to fund a park manager?
They would have to, if that's the course of action that they would like to take. In order to do that, we will need a levy probably in 2026, because we can't do it in 2025 because our safety service levy's up, and so is our street, like, personnel levy, so it either have to be in 2024 or 2026. We couldn't,
So you've got, on your levy schedule, we will need an increase in 2026 for parks.
yep.
But my question is, first of all, what's a parks manager run? What are we talking about dollar-wise?
Let's see.
90?
No, it was like
80-something.
80 something, 70, late,
Well,
But all in?
plus benefits.
Yeah,
plus
all in.
benefits, it's 100 plus.
Okay,
Yeah.
but to put that on a levy, what's it cost to put it on a levy? What's the township have to pay for that levy?
I don't know, what they do is they take the number of ballot items that are on that ballot,
Right.
and then they divide it between all the townships, and that's the cost that we get the next year from the
If it went
BOE.
out- If it went out in November election, it's one cost. If it was a special election in May or whatever, it's more costly.
Right,
Yeah,
but it's
Loveland
better,
School District just spent $50,000 to put that one.
We never-
Because it was a special election, it was the only item on the ballot, wasn't it? Yes.
it's never cost
So
us
they
that
would pick up the
much.
whole cost.
Okay, I'm just trying to.
It's usually under
understand the balance of
$10,000.
What this parks manager would run versus funding a levy just for one position.
Well, I
No,
think-
it wouldn't be just for one position, it's also for projects too, because like I said, we've been taking money out of the general fund for projects.
Okay.
And if we have to start replacing all these playground sets, which have become increasingly more expensive over time, then we just can't afford to do that. Plus the maintenance, I mean, just the way stuff breaks down and the stuff we have to replace and everything, the costs have skyrocketed. Even
To that point, I
contracted
think
services.
What we're trying to say is to be transparent. We don't want to fund the levy just to hire an employee.
No, it's just,
no,
it's
no,
not
no.
just for
I
that.
think that's where we're going with it.
No,
The-
it's not just for that.
The master plan would kind of address that
Yeah.
need.
I definitely
Okay.
think we need to do that so that people understand, and then we, like Pete said, you get everybody's opinion, like, what do you want to see in the parks? What are you guys willing to pay for? And then you put it up to the people.
Excellent.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, any other input on that? I think you've gotten a good feeling for where we are on that. 15, I don't think we have to do much with. I had asked the question on having an update on audit status and engaging on, kind of where we feel we are in terms of our controls and processes. And as Kim said, we've got a date coming up to review for the township soon. I think once we hear what those findings are, I think if you can help us just as soon as that is set, then on the next finance committee meeting, let's put it on the agenda and have a
Okay.
good discussion on it. and
She's
kinda get
coming
us up
out
to speed.
July 14th. She says she can do everything in one day.
Okay.
So it's a Friday, July 14th. She says she might schedule both days, the 13th and the 14th. And then what they typically do is they'll go through all our boxes, scan everything, and then they leave. And then
One
they'll
day?
go,
Wow.
that's why they're way more
They sat in here
efficient
for
than-
a month.
Yeah.
A few years
Never
ago.
seen that before.
This is a independent auditor
for
versus the
months.
state auditor. So anyway, she'll be here for maybe 1 to 2 days, and then she'll scan everything, and then she'll start, sending me questions. Like, hey, I noticed this, what does this mean?
Just
Or what,
like you guys do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it'll be on a much larger scale. And then she'll write up her report. She usually sends it to us first so that we get a look at it, and then we get a chance to dispute anything. So that might be a good time to,
Yep.
bring everybody else in.
Okay. That
Well, it
sounds
should
good
be
to me.
simpler this year too, because everything's on UAN.
Yeah, that's
Because
true,
you're- because you're
yes.
here.
On the last audit, 1 year was the
OTAS
old
and
DOS
then,
system, and then 1 year was on UAN. It was a nightmare.
yeah, and then we've cleaned up a lot of stuff. I mean,
Thank you, Joe.
You're welcome.
we should have everything in a group, but not to I mean, let's face it, the state always has its list and they always find something,
Yeah.
so no one's
Auditors
perfect.
don't last long if they never find any issues
Exactly,
where they are.
exactly, so,
Oh, they always get to find something.
That's right. Okay. And then we were chatting a little bit early. Kim, you mentioned that you've had some candidates for the 2 open committee positions.
Yep.
I think since Mike and Mark weren't here, I think the thought process you have now is to go to our full 7 members that we've kind of always had in the bylaws as up to 7 as the size of the finance committee. I don't think, I'm trying to remember from the bylaws, I don't think there's any role that we play as a finance committee in this process, right?
No, I was just letting you guys
You just introduce
know.
us when you found people that you want to.
Yeah, we've been advertising now for about 2 years and Mark was the only person to be interested.
Now, it's like,
I was
Yeah.
at the last meeting.
people
to
were
see that.
bored or something, and now they want
I sold
something
it
else
to
to
her. I was-
do.
Yeah.
So we have several applicants now, but surprising.
Yeah, so we have to appoint 2 and then Larry rolls off at the end of this year, so the trustees can either reappoint him or appoint a new person or however. Or Larry may say, no, I don't want to do
Just
it
so the
anymore.
record's clear, I was at the last meeting.
Mhm.
I went on the tour.
Yes, yeah.
Somebody said Mike wasn't here.
No. I said I don't think Mike's ever missed a meeting as long as I've been here.
Yeah.
Because I think my specific comment.
He may be late, but I think
He
he's
said I
here.
wasn't here.
No. If we were recording, I would go back and find it and say.
I haven't seen
He said he's always late, but he shows up.
I'm always here, in spirit.
In spirit, yes.
That's right. That's right.
I was here on Zoom during COVID. Those are some good times.
Yes, I
Yeah.
remember the Zooms.
I think our thinking right now is we definitely want to fill the 2 empty seats. And we're talking among ourselves as even maybe having some alternates as backup. There's
Yeah, it can't hurt.
more
Yeah.
viewpoints we can get into this process, I think the better off.
I don't even think we need alternates. Just, is there a limit on how many we can have?
We
And
can
I question whether we need 7.
No, that's
I
true.
would agree with that too,
Yeah.
but yeah.
I think if we have my suggestion would be if we have 7 interested, qualified people that want to be involved.
Yeah, why
Why
not?
not? Let's go for it. The good thing with alternates is,
You get a quorum.
any one of us could decide I'm moving, I've had enough, whatever, and yeah. By the time, as you said, you post it for years, and sometimes you go through a dry spell of a year or 2 where nobody applies. You don't want to be stuck in a
Well,
situation
look,
where.
based on you guys' recommendation with Joe's assistance, we could go back to 5 with 2 alternates.
I
Okay?
would agree with that.
Okay? But
We'd only
I
need 3
mean,
for a quorum.
look, historically, we had 5, okay? And then we had some real good candidates come along and we said, So we expanded it with a resolution, made it 7. And then when we found that people that we thought were really good didn't always come or couldn't come and so on, and dropped out. So we never changed it back to 5.
Yeah.
I think 5 of the 2 alternates would work well.
Yeah, I would leave it up to you if you've got candidates who you think would be great. I don't know that I would turn them down and say no, sorry, we're only taking 5. I wouldn't fill it to 7 just to fill it. I think 5 is
Okay.
plenty if you've got, so it's really like at your discretion if you think they're
If we have
good candidates that we want to look at. I mean, I don't know what a candidate would do if you said, hey, you're an alternate. Would they be like, okay, I don't know what that means. I'll move on to other things and find other ways to contribute. So
Yeah.
all stuff for you to, I think it's all just feedback for you to consider and decide what you think is right.
Okay.
I think we can work fine as a group with 5 or 7, and it's quality over quantity. I'd rather have people who are engaged and want to be here, and if you're not sure you've got that, then, I wouldn't force it just to get 7 people in the group.
That's a good point. Thank you.
All right, we already have our next meeting scheduled, right?
Yeah, it's like,
October 11th?
yeah.
Everything's still good with that? So with the audit committee, or with the audit report coming in, do you want to do another meeting then, or do you want to send us stuff and we just put it on the agenda for October 11th? What do you guys want to do? Just stick with October and,
October 11th, I
If
can't be
something comes
here.
up, schedule something.
Okay.
Yeah, if there's some,
That's,
anything
We scheduled this
concerning
meeting
the
in
audit.
February.
that's planning too far in
Well, I
advance.
wasn't planning an Italy trip in February.
Guess
so
you
we're-
won't be here.
I get back the 10th.
For
It's
now
whether
on.
I'm,
What's that?
We're meeting here.
Well,
So
you can be here then, if you get back on the
I may be
10th.
sleeping.
It's not till 6, so you got all day to sleep.
Okay, okay, I hear you.
The way back is easier.
Yeah.
Is this our new standard location to meet
Yes.
going forward? Okay.
Sorry.
No, you're
It-
fine.
It always was
missed that
until
too.
it wasn't.
Gotcha.
Yeah. We had a few over at the other place though,
Yes.
right?
We did, because we met in February over there
When-
because we took the tour.
Yeah, yeah.
We started out because of social distancing.
you.
That's right.
No?
They went outside.
No,
Huh. Well, it doesn't start till 6:30, so,
They started going outside again.
and
okay,
that basement was dark,
okay.
so.
They went to the park.
They should, it's beautiful out.
Count
Yeah, yeah.
these last few pages, getting away from the lemons and so on.
No other questions?
This is
Otherwise, anybody want to
projected
move
right
to
now for
adjourn the meeting?
2024. This is our 2023 at 11/9,
Second.
we're 12
All right.
6.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Going backwards, we were at 12.
Meeting
I guess
adjourned.
these are actuals, right? We were at 15.
Who adjourned it and who
We were at
seconded?
15.
We got
I
a
second.
motion
Okay.
and a second.
Okay.
Yep. Wait,
Okay.
you-